Hello, good morning.
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 Nice to see you again. So welcome everybody to this is our second meeting like this, and we've come up with a name for these meetings. We're calling them conscious conversations. So hello to anybody who's watching. My name's Mike Jenkins, and joining me today is Joe Scott, kinesiologist and nutritional therapist, and Leonie Morris, Dr. Leonie Morris, who is an energy medicine practitioner and an energy psychologist. I am a meditation guide. I lead present moment awareness meditations, as well as lots of other things that I do in life. So we're going to start today with a meditation. So I'm going to lead a short meditation, and then Leonie and Joe are going to share some of their approaches to our topic today, which we've decided is going to be letting go of habits or behaviors that no longer serve us. It's something that all three of us spoke about a bit last week. And these approaches that we've used in our own lives and that we use to help others. And we've decided to call these meetings, I don't know if I just mentioned this, but we've decided to call them conscious conversations, which we thought was a really good name for what these conversations actually are. And they're sharing from a conscious point of view, conversations that increase our own self-awareness and increase our, they just increase our conscious awareness of what works for us and what doesn't. So that might be individually, it might be collectively, you know, as a country or a world race or whatever. So I'm going to stop talking so much. And we'll begin this short meditation. So just take a moment to get comfortable where you are and take a few breaths in and out. And then I'm going to strike this gong and I'll lead a short guided meditation. So you don't have to close your eyes, but if you'd like to, you can. So for now, for the time of this meditation, we'll just allow that bell to call us to a point of stopping. Stopping and letting go. Just for these few minutes. We don't need to do anything or go anywhere or be anything in particular at all. And just notice with your attention the silence and the sounds appearing together. Notice the breath entering and leaving the body. Maybe there are thoughts coming and going, sensations in the body coming and going. And just be curious about what's present here that doesn't come and go. What's present that can hold what we alone cannot. And if there's anything that we're struggling to let go of, any habits or behaviors, whether they're habits of mind, thinking patterns, or actual habits of behavior that are just not serving us anymore, we can give them away to this moment, to this silence, to this space, to that dimension of emptiness, if you like, or the dimension of infinite space. We just hand it over. I'm going to ring the bell now and bring us back into connection, direct connection with each other as we explore this further.
Too peaceful to talk now.
I know, that's what I was thinking. It's so lovely and still. Oh.
I wonder if we should end on one of your sessions next time round, Mike, because it's so peaceful just to let go now.
That's a good idea. Maybe we should do it the other way around. Yeah, good point.
It's beautiful though, because it just clears your mind, doesn't it, and just gives gives that space, which is lovely. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, you're welcome. I think the sort of thing that I like to say about it is that the more that we practice in that way, or the more that we just turn toward that dimension, the more reassured we become that it's not something that's outside of us, that actually it never goes away. We're the ones who abandon it often in pursuit of something that we think is going to make us happy. So talking about habits, you know, for me, even, and this isn't about sort of getting to a place where, oh, I've got it all sorted, so it never affects me, but I do that too, you know. So after this call, I will probably go back to some of my habits, which might be, oh, I really want a cup of tea or a coffee now, and vape on my electronic cigarette, which I know doesn't serve me, but it's me stuck in that mindset and that habit of, but I think that's going to make me feel better, so I'm going to return to that because it's what I've always done. So it's we abandon that serenity, I think, sometimes in pursuit of stuff that we have convinced ourselves is what we want.
But the lovely thing from an energy perspective, so I've been able to see and more hear energy, but when I see the way that our energies change as you go through that, Mike, when you were saying you kind of get stuck in a pattern of thinking, quite often our habits from an energy perspective look like a lot of energy around your head and your throat, just circulating and looping like a closed circuit that won't let you escape. And when you take us into that stillness, the energy starts to flow smoothly in that beautiful pattern down to the earth and grounding, back up and up to the heavens, and allowing our patterns to rebalance and harmonize, which totally gives you that space to find your wisdom and let go of the stuck pattern, the stuck thinking, the loop. So it's beautiful, really effective.
So with that in mind.
Yeah, so I do have, and I know that we kind of talked about this before, so we're talking about stuck patterns and energy and what that looks like from an energetic perspective. And to me, I'm an energy psychologist and an energy medicine practitioner. Today, I'm going to share a technique which is more energy psychology, which allows you to access that old truth that stuck pattern, that old thought. And I'm going to pick on Mike and use one of his vices, which he just mentioned. He vapes, so he's a semi-reformed smoker. And all of us have these habits that we turn to for a certain reason, and they give us comfort in the moment. So this exercise allows us to filter our rational brain, our conscious brain, and insert a new truth to create a new, healthier pattern into our subconscious. It's called the temporal tap. It's as old as time, but it's still used today. I think American dentists use it to actually allow people to have teeth pulled without experiencing pain and without using any drugs. So for people who are allergic to painkillers or don't want to go through painkillers, it's a way of subverting the pain, because pain is just energy, pain is just thinking. But we can use this technique to get rid of an old pattern. So we'll use smoking as the pattern. It's called the temporal tap because we're working with a kind of semicircular shape, following from the temple bone, from the temple here, round the back of your ear on both sides. So if you're right-handed, we need to do a temporal tap on our left hand. I'll show you shortly, but we use negative phrasing. So the left hemisphere of your brain is logical, critical, and it's the part of your brain, the meridian that we're touching. It's the triple warmer meridian. And tapping these points here allows us to get out of old patterns and filter through the rational thinking. And what we do is we create a negatively phrased term, which is allowing you to get out of that pattern. So smoking, I no longer need to smoke to curb my emptiness. You have to phrase this according to why you're smoking. It might be smoking for calm. So I no longer need to smoke to feel calm. And we get the pads of your hands and we tap round the temporal curve there. I no longer need to smoke to curb my sense of calm or to feel calm. I no longer need to smoke to feel calm. And you speak that phrase and you tap. And as you're tapping, it's allowing your rational brain to let go. And that old truth, or the new truth of I no longer need to smoke to feel calm, is going into your subconscious. The left-hand side is the critical one. And we form a new truth in a positive phrase and do the same thing on the right-hand side. So I love my sense of health now I'm not smoking, or now I'm a non-smoker. So I love being smoke-free. Let's keep it really simple. It has to be a phrase that you'd use, your language, your words, but positive, but meaning the same new truth. I no longer need to, what am I saying? I feel good no longer smoking. No, that's negative too. I'm trying to think of a positive way. I just feel good as a non-smoker. I feel good as a non-smoker. I feel good as a non-smoker. And what you do is you tap the negative in, then the positive, and you do it 2 or 3 times every day. And you're tapping in the same truth, albeit in the negative stance and in the positive stance. And the more you do that, you're recreating the patterns in your brain. You're creating a new neural connection, new chemistry, new neural paths. And my language there was terrible on the spur of the moment, but whatever your habit is, whether it's a thought habit or a behavioral habit, write down really succinct phrases that you'd use. I no longer need to smoke to feel calm. I feel happy as a non-smoker. And do those taps as you speak, making sure that the new truth is pictured in your head. So as if you're no longer smoking, whatever your habit is, see you being the new you, the healthier you, the person who's made the healthier choices. And I promise you, it's super powerful, filters out all your rational thinking, and that new truth will be inserted. Do it for 30 days, so a month, 2 or 3 times a day. It takes seconds. Do 2 or 3 taps, reciting your words 2 or 3 times a day, and you will be able to pick your habit.
That sounds fantastic. It sounds really, really good. What I like about that is that a lot of people like me who are addicted to nicotine will probably be thinking, but that's a long time to do it for. It's a long way to, you know, I want a quicker sort of result. I want to deal with that craving really quickly, which is why I reach for the nicotine, whether it's a vape or a cigarette or a lozenge or whatever. But I've often thought, particularly with affirmation work, like years ago, there was a lot of talk around positive affirmations. And I think that's a similar thing, is that it's taken me, 25 years to build up those associations and those thoughts of, oh, that feels better. It's taken many, many years to make those connections that come automatic. So I think it's worth sort of saying, particularly for me and for anyone else who's struggling with behavior change and habit change, is that it may well take a longer time than we would like to reprogram those connections in that way.
Yeah,
that
and it can happen really quickly, 30 days for a long ingrained habit. But effectively what you're doing energetically, it's when you have a habit, your left hemisphere and your right hemisphere are in dissonance. They're literally fighting each other. And I always imagine an angel and a devil kind of stabbing each other, because you have a great intention to be healthy and to give up and to have a new pattern. But the old you is saying, yeah, but it's nice. I enjoy it. It's lovely. And they're having that fight. So this is taking your cognitive dissonance away and allowing you that calm space. So it's literally a pattern interrupt. So when you feel the urge to vape or to smoke, you start your tapping, do 5 minutes of tapping. That you're negative and you're positive. And I should say, if you're left-handed, sometimes you need to switch that.
Do it the way round.
So do it the other way round. Just as a reminder to myself and to people who are watching.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Leonie. That sounds really, really
Brilliant.
powerful. And I'm going to try that. I'll report back each week, but not too much. I don't want to dominate with my... So, Joe Scott.
Yeah, brilliant. Lovely. Thank you for that, Leonie. Love temporal tap. Really great stuff. So I thought I'd look at this slightly different, and thinking that we're having conscious conversations, I thought about what we can do really consciously around habits and around changing our habits. And Mike sort of spun an idea in my head, so I thought I'd run with it. And it's all around water, really, and about being hydrated. And I find working with people, particularly as a nutritionist, is that actually one of the easiest, most simplest ways you can feel so much better and can change a lot with what's happening for you is to be hydrated and to drink more water. And I know that message goes out there all the time. And everyone says, I don't really like water, or I don't like this, or and all these things. But it's just, it is such a simple thing, because I think, and one of the things I've found when I'm working with people is that I have to kind of work in partnership with them. I think sometimes people think they can come to you and you'll wave a magic wand and everything will be better. But it's about working together and working in partnership. And so one of the key things that I always need from someone is being compliant and wanting to make changes. So I suppose the key thing whenever you want to make any changes is, do you, or the person you're working with, really have the desire to want to change? Or is it, well, I suppose I should, or people have been telling me I should, but do I really want it? And that desire is so important. So when I'm working with people, I dig deep to find out, do they really want to feel different? Do they want to improve their well-being, or are they half buying into it? So that desire is really key, I suppose. And water and hydration. I mean, if you think about it, our bodies are about between 60 and 70% water. Our brain is about 80% water. So when we're short of water, everything in our body is struggling. We need that water for all the reactions, all the enzymes, and everything that needs to go around the body. It needs to be there. And so we need that thing. And so I suppose when I'm working with people, it's about supporting them, them having the desire, but then letting them know what's happening. So what is happening in the body? So in the body, in every cell, we need the water. And when we lose water, we lose magnesium and potassium, which we need those minerals in our body. So when we're drinking tea, drinking coffee, alcohol, sugar, when we're eating sugar, and also when we're stressed, all of those things are diuretics. So they make our body lose water, and with that we lose the great minerals as well. So, you know, as soon as we start to feel thirsty, we're already dehydrated. So I think what's really important is helping people to understand what's happening. So I'm not just banging on about water, but why. And so we need to make sure that we get that water. So it's about, you know, why is that a benefit? So we need the water. We need that to hydrate our bodies. We need it to hydrate our skin. You know, our skin goes really dry. Our brain will get fuzzy head. We'll lose our concentration. So all of those things, you know, we need the water to eliminate toxins out the body. You know, we need all of that. So it's really, I think, helping people to come on board and see why, rather than just banging on about it. And then I think it's helping people to think about what they can do then. So I always think it's a gradual transformation. Anything is gradual. So it's about how can they, if they're big tea and coffee drinkers, how can they maybe cut down each day, lower the amount of teas and coffees they have, and up the amount of water. And I'll always want people to aim for 2 litres a day, and 2 litres of plain water. You know, you can have herbal teas as well, but you need that actual plain water. So it's about helping people to make that gradual transition. And I always say to people, it's like baby steps. Don't feel that tomorrow, whoomp, tea and coffee gone, everything gone. It's about gradual and a gradual transformation. And working with people like that, then what I always ask them to do is, if they've come to me with certain symptoms, you know, maybe there's someone who constantly has headaches, constantly feels lethargic, has trouble, you know, going to the loo, you know, constipation is happening to them. Maybe they've got problems with their skin, all of those things. Then what I ask them to do is to keep a daily diary. How are they feeling? And so getting them to have a conscious awareness of their body and how they're feeling. Because once people start to feel that, and what I love is if someone comes back to me and said, I knew I was feeling bad that day because I ate loads of sugar, had loads of coffee and no water. And so for me, then I'm thinking, great. They're connecting how they feel, improvements in feeling or deterioration in feeling connected with those habits. And so then that's that gradual process. And for some people, it takes longer than others. But really, I think it can be easy if you don't sort of keep a daily watch on it. It can be easy just to think, I can't really feel any difference. And as soon as the body is dehydrated, we're stressed. And you know, the biggest stressor for the body is being dehydrated. So you end up with this spiral. So again, you know, drinking more water, it's not only the physical, but the mental well-being. So it's trying to take people on that journey and, you know, letting them know what's happening, why the changes, what will be the benefit to them, and then how they're going to do it, and working alongside them. I mean, that's quite sort of simplistic, but that's, you know, water, even if you just change that in your daily routine, that can make such a big difference.
It's so huge, Jo. I just wanted to step in there and sort of add from an energetic perspective. If you're not dehydrated, your energy patterns shrink in, go chaotic, aren't grounding. You literally can't do the things that you would do in a hydrated sense. You know, you're literally not in your fullness. If you imagine a grape versus a raisin can't do the things a grape can do. But when you're hungover, you notice your habits go to pieces. You eat the crap food, you don't do your exercise, you binge watch TV, and the reason is you're dehydrated. Your willpower goes to pieces. You're not, connected to your greater self, the person with all the resilience and the amazingness. You go back on autopilot to your comfort zone and your limited raisin space. So I always think raisin versus grape. Who do I want to be today?
Nice plump grape.
It's true. And what I love about that approach, Joe, because some people might think, oh, well, what's that got to do with releasing old habits? Well, it's a huge amount, actually, because if you instruct somebody to drink more water, and I think it's really important to say that this has to be people who are really committed, even though they realize it might be hard, but they've made that commitment. I've got to change. I know it's going to be difficult, but I'm committed to it. But actually, just by saying, so try and drink 3 glasses of water today, for someone who doesn't normally, the activity, and for me, it did this for me when I was working with you this way, is it makes us more conscious. And I think that's what's wonderful about working one-to-one with any practitioner, really, but particularly with a practitioner where you're looking at your daily routines in eating and drinking and what you put in your body, your health, your exercise. What I love about your work and practitioners like you, Joe, is that you work holistically or naturopathically. So it's the whole person. It's not just food and drink. Yeah. It's, well, how did the yoga make you feel today? Or for some people, it might be running or, weight exercises or whatever, or meditation or, emotional health. And I think that none of those things change until we become conscious of what's actually going on. So the diaries, it's all about that raising our awareness, our self-awareness of what's working for us and what isn't.
Yeah. Very much so. I think that is the root of everything. That the reason why we're here, conscious conversations. You can't fix what you don't see, what you don't know, and what you literally are not aware of. So yeah, becoming consciously aware Indeed. Of what your pattern is. And that when it's a physical pattern, it's a bit easier, isn't it? But when it's an emotional pattern, it's tricky. So, I used to do a star rating on 5 stars being super happy, blissful, fulfilled, down to 1 depressed, suicidal. And I would do that rating every day and think, what is it that's made me feel shitty, not myself today, to start to be aware of emotional patterns. So yeah, well, that's perhaps a good idea for next week's conscious conversation. Maybe we could come on to emotional distress and approaches to, because I think a lot of us at the moment are experiencing a range of troubling emotional experiences, and I think that would be really good. We should probably bring our conscious conversation to a close today. Is there anything else either of you? Can I just add one tiny thing? Yeah. I can never shut up, can I? I just think that, what you did at the beginning, Mike, that stillness and that moment out, I think if people can grasp that throughout the day at little intervals, it just allows you just to step back, have that space, and maybe, if you are working on wanting to get a shift in your patterns, in your habits, just allowing yourself to step away and just have some thought is, I think those moments are so powerful for keeping us on the track that we want to follow. Yeah. I agree. And the power for it for me, and I've been exploring these present moment awareness, or just stopping thought, or just stepping back, retreating, for well over 10 years now, probably getting close to 14, 15 years. And the power of it for me is that constantly with trying to embrace or affect positive change, there comes that feeling of I can't do it. And I think what's powerful about resting in presence is, in a way, it validates that, and it says, I know you can't, but that's okay, because there's something here that you are appearing in that can. So we're only human, so I can't do it all, and that's okay, because there's something here that's holding us. And what's exciting for me and beautiful is that it's not outside of us, it's here. We are inside of it, and that's reassuring, I think, to actually, when we step back into that space, we can go, that's all right, actually,
I'm allowed to not cope in this moment, because I can just stop.
Yeah.
There's something here that can.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Lovely. Great to see you guys.
It's lovely to see you. Yeah.
I'm learning so much. So this is lovely for us as well as other people listening. I hope it's very educational. Thank you.
Yeah.
No,
Fantastic.
thank you both. For me too, definitely. And I shall explore these techniques and my water, which I've been drinking all the way through our session.
Well done, you.
Perfect. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. See you next week.
Love to see you.
Lots of love.
Bye.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.